The opposite of a wall is a door. By the Door Radio.
Time goes by and not for a knock. Time goes by and not time goes by and not for a knock. We in this together, son. Your beef is mine. So long as the sunshine can light up the sky. We in this together, son. Your beef is mine. Life is a gamble. We scramble for money. Life is a gamble. We scramble. Life is a gamble. We scramble for money. I might crack a smile, but ain't a damn thing funny.
Peace. Welcome to Original Thoughts Online Magazine, your official home of the exclusive, original, and action interview series. Brought to you by the G.O.D. I Seek Justice, exclusively at www.originalthoughtsmag.com. Also in the mix, we have the original portal tool, where you can find all your latest interviews and your official news from around the globe 24/7. I'm plugging you from the Matrix, giving you the real beyond the illusion. Remember, online, Original Thoughts Magazine, www.originalthoughtmag.com. Peace. All right. Ready to go in, Lord?
Yes, Lord. Peace.
All right. Peace. I come into the divine name of I Seek Justice. Welcome to your original action interview series. In the Cipher right now, I got the great G.O.D. Introduce yourself, Almighty.
Peace. I'm Knowledge and All. I rest in the desert. The way I see it, everything is about knowledge right now, because we have to not just only knowledge, but we have to act knowledge the times that we live in. And if you look at everything that's going around, it's the madness and the insanity is magnified. It's like to a degree where everybody is being swept away by a wave of negativity. Now, that negativity, if you don't have the knowledge of yourself, will sweep you away and cause you to get caught up in it. And then what happens is you fall a victim to what's happening in the world. Now, that consciousness comes from unconsciousness. When you're unconscious of the knowledge of yourself, then what happens is you reside, or your consciousness rests in the ego. The ego stands for easing God out. And if you look at the news, if you look at everything that's going on in your community, if you look at all the things that's happening on a global scale, everything that happened like in Egypt, in Libya, all the catastrophes in the world, the earthquake in New Zealand, the typhoon in Australia, the devastating snowfalls all over the planet. If you look at what's happening globally, what it tends to do is give you a negative attitude. That negative attitude, if you allow yourself to fall victim to it, causes our internal organs to become sick. See, negative emotions affect us internally on a biological level. So, if you look at the liver, many people suffer from cirrhosis of the liver. They don't even drink alcohol. It comes from anger. It comes from inner rage. Resentments cause cancer. stomach cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. It all comes from not being able to let go of that negative emotion. Now, the only antidote for that negative emotion is consciousness, conscious awareness, being present. Because by being present, you can see things for what they actually are, not what you think they might be. See, there's the whole problem of what's happening in the world comes from our thinking, negative thinking. Now, don't get me, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. We need thinking to know, how to get from our house to the grocery store, or how to get from one part of town to another town, or how to calculate our checkbook, or how to pay bills, how to cash our check. We need thinking to do those functions. But the thinking that I'm talking about is the psychological thinking. That thinking that says, what about, suppose, maybe, what if? That thinking comes from the context of the mind, which is on the outside. There's content, which makes me know that my name is Knowledge Allah, and that I'm building with I See Justice on the Knowledge Cipher Day. That's the content. That's what's tangible. But when we get caught up in the context, which is that thinking that's outside, and if we stay in the past with that thinking, or if we project that thinking into the future, then we're not dealing with reality. What we're dealing with is an illusion. The whole key is to deal with what actually is, and not mind that psychological thinking. Now, all that sounds very conceptual, but actually, if you practice it, if you learn how to stay present through meditation, through just consciousness, through just dealing with what actually is, then what you can do is develop the ability to stay in the moment and not mind things that happen around you, and not get caught up in other people's negativity. Because what's happening is that everybody is so insane and so mad. The human race is dealing with madness and insanity, and it's not something that just happened. This is something that's been going on for thousands of years. If you go back to when they crucified Christ, the first thing he said, or the last thing he said, was, "Forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do." And if you look at the world today, people are so unconscious of what's happening. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they do when it comes to diet. They don't know what they do when it comes to livelihood. They don't know what they do when it comes to the importance of exercise. They don't know what they do when it comes to the importance of drinking water. Dehydration is another 2 causes of death. The number 1 cause of death is sleep deprivation. And the number 3 cause of death is lack of exercise. So let me put that in order. The number 1 cause is sleep deprivation. The number 2 cause is dehydration. And the number 3 cause is lack of exercise. Now, sleep deprivation comes from stress. It comes from the industrial age concept of having to work for a living. If you work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, you're not getting the proper rest, because the other time is spent probably watching TV or taking care of your family or taking care of whatever you have to take care of. And then when it comes to getting a proper amount of rest, you can't get it because, i.e., you're probably working the evening shift or the night shift. So during the daytime, there's too much noise and activity for you to get the proper rest. And then what happens is, by not being balanced when it comes to the rest, which is the most important key for the body's survival, what happens is your system breaks down, your body breaks down. Now, dehydration comes because the body is 80% liquid. The brain is 90% liquid. The kidney is 83% liquid. Now, if you don't give that body the proper water, then what happens is you dehydrate. And dehydration is the main reason why most people feel fatigued all the time. They're always tired. So the key is to constantly drink enough water every day. Okay? Now, exercise, your body needs what they call, you have to, increase the circulation. That comes from doing cardiovascular exercises, and weight training, or you don't have to necessarily lift free weights, but you can work on machines and cables. What that does is causes the heart to pump more oxygen and more nutrition to the cells in your body. And so with proper exercise, what happens is the cells become more alive. And once the cells are alive, what happens is the aging process is reversed. So it's important to exercise, at least 2 or 3 times a week. And if you look at society, most people are limping to go play lotto, and that's because they don't exercise. And all the different ailments that people, society suffer with, like arthritis, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, come from lack of exercise and come from not drinking enough antioxidants. So, the point that I'm bringing out is that this all comes from consciousness. And we're so unconscious because we're so caught up in thinking like society wants us to think. Most people are focused on eating McDonald's. They're focused on drinking sodas or Kool-Aid, sugar, salt. They're not aware that all these things are poisonous. Television, the movies. If you look at the movies, most movies focus on pain, horror, action movies, explosions, people getting killed. It's all designed to feed what we call the pain body. Everybody has the pain body in them. It's their inner rage. Original people suffer that from the experience of slavery. Native Americans suffer from the experience of the American settlers. The Jews suffer from the Holocaust. So all these different people have this pain body, and that pain body isn't brought to light. It's just in the unconscious mind. And what happens is it goes over and over and over in thought. And because of that rage, because of that pain, what happens is it can either cause you to be stuck or get to the point where you have to break out of it. That's why if you look in history and see all the great people, they usually generally had a strong pain body at one time or another. Like people like Oprah Winfrey, people like Malcolm X, they came out of a lot of pain. Tyler Perry, the list goes on and on and on. Steve Harvey, you know what I'm saying? Charles S. Dutton. They all came from strong pain bodies. But what happens is it got to a point where it had to break free. Nature or life had to express itself. But unfortunately, not enough of us get to that point where we stay under the radar, and then we get caught up in that pain and suffer over and over and over again. And we suffer from what they call exaggerated startle response. And how that looks is like, why are you looking at me? I didn't do it. He did it. It's like, we all know people like that. You know what I'm saying? The pain body will express itself in road rage. Let somebody not drive fast enough, or somebody cut you off. Right away, you want to get up to them, stare them down, and beat them down. And then a few seconds later, if you ask, what happened to you? You won't even know. Something came over me. It's just the unconsciousness of the pain body or the ego acting itself out. There was an incident not too long ago here in Now Why, where a young lady was standing in a parking space waiting for her boyfriend, I guess, to circle around and get the space. And a brother saw her standing there and got out. They got into words, and he punched in her face. Now the lady's in a coma. And his response was, I don't know what came over me. And whatever she said triggered his pain body enough for her to clock her in her face. And now she's shouting, now she's in a coma. And now you want to ask, is he responsible for that? No, he's not, because he was taken over by his pain body. He didn't know what he was doing. The same thing Christ said when he said, they not know what they do. Forgive them. You know what I'm saying? And see, this is what's going on in the world. Everybody's caught up in their unconscious thinking. They don't know what it is to be aware. They don't know what it means not to mind the moment, because in the moment, things pass, good things and bad things. And what happens is we get so caught up in our mental and emotional that we become mentally and emotionally constipated. We don't know how to let go and let God. Because if you look at the most important function of the body, which is breathing, you go in and you out. And you inhale and you exhale. You can't just inhale and then hold on to it like, oh man, I hit the number today. Now I'm going to, no, you got to let it go so that new breath could come in. Or if, did you see what he did to me? You know, I'll kill him. You know, you can't hold on to that. No, you have to let it go. And that inhaling and exhaling happens in the moment. And it goes from moment to moment to moment. So think about how many times in your lifetime you've inhaled and exhaled. The numbers are in the zillions. Come on. You know, how many seconds have you lived in your lifetime? And then think about all the seconds that are ahead of you. So if you can stay conscious to a fraction of that, then you can overcome this thing called the ego or the pain body. See, and this is what our people are caught up in. We're caught up in what they call black rage, which really isn't a bad thing, because if you take that rage and apply passion to it, it can drive you to a life beyond your wildest dreams, like it did Oprah Winfrey, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Venus and Serena, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. All the great black people in the world have gotten there because of their pain body, because of the black rage. That's why the experience of slavery is really like a blessing for us, because the original people here in the wilderness of North America are the most advanced Africans on the planet, the most advanced original people on the planet because of slavery. Because American chattel slavery is the worst atrocity ever committed against the people, not only because of what happened then, but what has been continuously happening from then till now. I'm talking about the rage, with the rape, with the torture, with the beatings, with the murders, the lynching, Rodney King, Amadou Diallo. It goes on and on. It goes on. The suffering that was inflicted on us is also inflicted on them because of guilt. See, that blood is on their hands, and that's why America is so advanced. This country here is so advanced in the world. It's only because of all the mixed blood. Everything that's going on from then till now, from the time of the settlers to right now, if you look at everything that's going on with the corruption, with the rage, with the abuse, it's only designed to take us to a place beyond our wildest dreams. If we can let go of the past and get in the moment and learn from that moment, because this moment right now is all that matters. Everything that happened yesterday doesn't mean anything. Everything that might happen tomorrow doesn't mean anything. But if you live right now with complete consciousness, then anything is possible. You see, this is what I constantly try to enlighten to anybody who comes into my cycle. I don't care if they black, white, purple, brown, or pink. I constantly teach consciousness. I constantly point out the ego and how easing God out keeps the world in the state that it's in. Keeps the world in suffering, keeps the world in madness. The only way you can get past darkness, you can't sweep it out, you can't shovel it out, you can't push it out. All you have to do is turn on the light, and the darkness disappears. And that light is pure consciousness, awareness, which comes right now, which is knowledge. But see, you got to understand that knowledge without action means nothing. There's knowledge, and then there's specialized knowledge. Now, everybody always says knowledge is power. Knowledge doesn't mean anything. I can know, all kinds of things. But if I can't organize that thought, if I can't deal with a specific area, then that knowledge doesn't mean anything. Like the knowledge of, medicine. There's just what we know. That's like, if you take like a pie chart, you take a small slice of that pie, that's what you know. That's what you know that you know. You know your name, you know what you've experienced in your life, you know what's going on. And then there's another small slice, which is what you don't know. You know you can't change the transmission. You know you can't perform brain surgery. You know you don't know pharmaceuticals. Those things you don't know. Okay. But now the rest of the pie is what you don't know that you don't know. And once you gain access to that area, then your possibilities are unlimited. Anything is possible from what you don't know that you don't know. Because once you don't know that you don't know, now you've created a space for anything to come in. And see, this is what it's all about.